Hello. Hi, all the fans. Hi. I'm very excited indeed. Hi, how are you? Hi. I would like to say hi to all the fans tonight. I got a very special guest, and today I'm going on live in IG, so I'm not acclimated to. Okay. So anyway, I would love to start a little bit in Indonesia. Okay. Halo semua penggemar di seluruh dunia dan ya, tentu saja penggemarku tercinta di Indonesia dan Queen Nadia Tjoa, Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2021. Saya Godare KP Worldwide akan melesa terhormat menjadi tuan rumah malam ini adalah malam yang ditunggu oleh penggemar berat saya dan Nadia Tjoa, Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2021. Pertama-tama saya berterima kasih atas semua dukungan dari para penggemar, Mr. Dude, Mr. Dado, Tuan Iwan Gunawan, dan Yaya Sandunia Mega Bintang untuk membuat bertanjukan hebat saya Laninya tentang lagu Nadia yang menakjubkan pegang hati malaikat mungkin hari ini. Saya mencintai perjuangan dan dia luar biasa menjadi pembangkang Indonesia dalam Miss Face of Humanity dan selalu membawa pulang mahkota pertama untuk di Indonesia. Bangga dengan saya semua penggemar untuk mendengarkan pidato Ratu Nadia baru saja. Okay. Okay, all the fans.
Hi, hello. I'm great. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Hello, Queen Nadia. Bagaimana?
Baik, baik. I hear you speaking Indonesia. It's very impressive.
Okay, that's good indeed. Thank you for coming. Okay, in my program. I'm sorry to be a little bit late. You're so beautiful tonight. I knew that you got a very active schedule today, so I'm honored indeed to have you. All right, all the fans just waiting for you for long. So first of all, congratulations to be selected as Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia. Okay, I'm very proud of you. Okay. Deserving. So, might you just tell me, especially all the fans, to know why you chose to be represent Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia? What's the purpose of the contest?
First contest?
Yes.
The purpose of Miss Face of Humanity is to spread the message of love, because we believe that we should see humans as humans. We shouldn't differentiate people based on their religion, based on where they come from, the languages that they speak, or just the way they look outside. So you should see people based on their insight and based on their heart and the way they view love. I think that's the message of love from Miss Face of Humanity.
Right. I really love concept of the contest. So, how far far have you prepared about yourself to represent Indonesia on the world stage? What kind of message would you bring with you to show the world?
I definitely want to bring with me the message of education for refugees because I work with the refugee community here in Indonesia for 3 years now. And I see that young generation, their family, they have very talented children. They have people who are willing to work, who have what it takes, but they don't have the opportunities because they are refugees. And currently, we are also expanding that because we want to spread the message of education, that education is important for everyone. And I see that in rural areas of Indonesia, even here, even in this city, in Jakarta, in the capital, there are so many families who don't value education. So we want to spread that message and we want to make sure that the kids have the ability to learn in the future.
Right. Okay. So you talk about refugee. For me, okay, I just only knew I just only knew that recently Indonesia government accept Rohingya,
Yeah.
both people in Indonesia. So very kind indeed. Okay. I'm very impressed. So I just want to know, aside from Rohingya, what ethnicity of people that Indonesia actually embrace into the land?
Actually, most of them come from the Middle East, and the majority is from Afghanistan because, as we know, there's a humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. So a lot of people have left, and they bring with them their whole family, their whole asset, everything that they have, and then they move to Indonesia, among other countries.
Right. Okay. So, for you, okay, for your standpoint of view, I would love to know how do you feel indeed about refugee?
I first met them in an art exhibition. So I met the community as well as I meet with the children because they make beautiful arts. And the way I feel with them is the way I feel with every children I've met, is that I see the potential, I see the good in them, and I see the humanity in them. I see that they are people, and the way we view people, we should see them based on the way they are inside. We shouldn't differentiate people. And I think that looking at them, I just want to do everything that I can to help. I cannot do that much because I'm not the government, I am not of the United Nations, but what I can do as a human, I try to do.
Right, that's nice indeed. Okay, so before we going into detail, it's quite interesting indeed about your mission. Okay, I would love to know about your background and your story. How come you related to pageantry? Okay, and how long have you been competing? And about have you ever been competing anywhere before?
Yeah, actually, I've competed in the local pageants in Indonesia, and I competed, I think, when I was 20 or 21. So it was a few years back. And then I just got into knowing everyone inside, and I know that they are brave women, they are women with vision, with missions. And I think that's how I got into it. That's how I like it. And I started going to another pageant, and then I got into Miss Grand in 2020 as a top 5 finalist. And then I got chosen as Miss Face of Humanity 2021, Indonesia.
Right, that's nice indeed. A lot of fans actually have me ask you quite a lot of questions. Okay, so are you ready? Actually, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, before we go into the substance, how tall are you and how old are you?
I'm 175 centimeters and I'm 26
Oh,
years old.
right. Okay. All right. Now, we talk about refugee already, but another part of the world, many parts of the world wouldn't know about Indonesia, okay? So what I'm going to ask you is, what is an urgent area in Indonesia's society that you see to uplift, okay? If you would have a title like Miss Face of Humanity 2022, or actually if you have power as someone in the government?
There are so many issues in Indonesia that we can fix. And for me personally, the issue of education is very important. And I think that there needs to be an understanding for people in rural areas that education is important, as well as for women. Because in many families, they think that only the male needs to study, only the guys need to work, and the women needs to stay at home. But times are different, and women are smart, women are brilliant. And I want people of Indonesia to know that it is important for us to give the children, the women, a place to study, a place to be accepted in the future. Yeah.
That's very interesting because you're going to do something against tradition, okay? So I would love to know what kind of initiative or approach would you bring with you to make them understand about the real situation nowadays, that women need to be very strong and stand up for themselves, and education will arm them, okay, to go on with the life outside the family?
Actually, me and the organization, we went to a community next to a train, like a train rails, and they have like small houses there. And then we went there and teach. And then we asked the children, we asked the women as well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of the women, they say they want to be teachers. And I think that that is how we spread the message. Because when you uplift a woman, they will uplift the whole community and they will give back, because that is what women do.
Okay, right. So, okay, averagely, okay, and now today, I mean, what age would women in Indonesia normally have education? I mean, have the highest education? I mean, undergrad or just high school or master? I mean, on average.
It depends. On average, it's definitely different with the men. Usually men have more education, especially in rural areas, because we have a lot of small islands and places that people cannot normally go to easily. So there, usually, especially during COVID, the family had to choose. They had to choose between the children, which one they wanna send to school, and which one they wanna go and have them get married. So for a lot of families, the women, they choose for them to get married to someone else's family so that they don't have to feed them, because this is a hard time in Indonesia because of COVID, and all over the world this is happening. So I think that this message is very relevant. It's very relevant in Indonesia as well as all over the world, because this is still happening.
Right, right. So what you're going to do is very admirable indeed. I would love to know, you pretty much spearhead on what you're doing in your society. Would you feel intimidated against resistance of the traditions that, people, perceive you?
I think that there is definitely going to be resistance. People are going to ask, why are you spreading this message? And why are you coming to their place, to their rules and their tradition, and tell them what to do? So I think what we can do, and what I try to do always, is speak from my heart and connect to them as a human, and connect to them as a parent. Because I want them to know that I'm not speaking because I want them to change their ways. I'm speaking because I want them to have a better future. I want their children to have dreams. And I want their children to be a better person in the future.
Okay, under COVID-19, okay, pandemic is rampant everywhere, and especially Indonesia, I think, because the more people, the more likely pandemic will, will rampant or spread. So how do you find or how do you perceive beauty in life under hardship situation?
I think that being under lockdown, especially during the first few months of COVID, I realized how important family is, because we stay at home, we meet with our family, and then we take care of each other. And for so many people, during the worst of COVID, they lost their family member. And I realized just how important they are. And I realized how important health is. We see beauty in the little things. We see beauty because we can see the people we care about being healthy. And I think that during COVID, a lot of people realized that. And we have to keep remember that. Even after this whole pandemic is done, we have to remember that.
Okay, so as a Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia, okay, so I would love to know, for someone still sticking to traditional beauty pageant, that beauty queen need to be beautiful, okay, and perform a lot on stage, but your competition is very focused on humankind, okay, and the contribution that anyone, especially beauty queen, going to give to the society, which is very, very promising and very large indeed. So if you're going to say to someone that haven't got into the purpose of Miss Face of Humanity, what kind of thing you're going to talk to them, talk them down, and change their mind, okay, to appreciate more in the contest which promote lady and promote the contribution of lady?
In terms of being accepted to society, I think that when you try to do something different, when you try to do something unique, you will always offend somebody. You will always make someone feel not as excited about it. But I think that is a very important message for us. And it is very simple. Miss Face of Humanity, at the core, is a very simple message. It is a message of love. And I think that everyone is born from love. Everyone is capable of it. And this is the way that we want people to understand and people to realize that again. Because we see that so many people are facing hardship and so many people are forgetting that there is love in this world. And when we come back to it, that's the message. And that is very, very simple thing.
Right. Okay. That's a very good point. So I want to know, okay, in the contest, what would you make yourself stand out among all like purposeful ladies in the competitions, okay?
My competition, they are beautiful. They are so smart and brilliant. And I think that us coming together, we're only going to make the world a better place. But I think that I obviously have some differences. I have my short hair, I have my pixie cut, and I have a different message. I have a different organization that I work with. I have different people that I speak up for. And I think that's going to be what differentiates me from the rest because of what I work for.
Okay, so if someone just asks you, what is the most probably beautiful things ever happened in Indonesia in your point of view? So what kind of response that you're going to give them, make them impressed?
The most beautiful thing in Indonesia? I think that I meet with a lot of people with my work, and with the organizations I work with, I talk to them. And I think that the most beautiful thing I hear and I see is the way they speak, the way they smile, and the way they have a dream for the future. I think that Indonesian people, they are kind and they are sincere, and those smiles are what fuel me every day.
Mm. Right. Oh, that's very nice indeed. And what about if someone, okay, would love you to explain about your nation's motto, I think, unity in diversity. Okay. What does it mean in Indonesian understanding? Okay. So let's all the world, okay, know by Indonesian understanding.
Yeah, so in Indonesia, it is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. And it is because we have so many different people, so many races, and so many tribes. We have traditions that are so different, and we have 17,000 islands. And
Mm.
just the whole of Indonesia coming together. And we know that
Mm.
we are a family. That is what
Mm.
that means. It means that you are different, but it is okay because you are family.
Okay, so all the fans, whoever delve in the definitions, okay, we already clear by Queen Nadia here, okay. So very nice indeed. I couldn't imagine because I'm Thai, and in Thailand we got the piece of land, and we got just several small island, okay, and the biggest one is Phuket.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine if we have so many islands apart, how we could unite
Yeah.
all together. So I'm appreciated for any country which is archipelago like Indonesia that's comprised of a lot of small islands, and but they still stick together and united as a country. So I'm appreciated indeed. Okay,
Thank you.
so people all know that Indonesia is large. I mean, in terms of population, okay, probably considered as one of greatly populated countries in the world. Okay, so as an ambassador of Face of Humanity Indonesia, what is your point of view on birth control or sex education? Would you agree to advocate for it, or you disagree?
I think that there was programs by the government for birth control as well as sex education. So for me personally, it's always important for men and women to understand about their own body, about the way people interact and the way they create a family. So I think that sex education is very important, and that is how we teach our children. It is how we take care of each other. And also with the programs by the government to take care of the population. I think that it is important that we have resources and for our resources to be enough for our country. So that is up to the government because they have all the data and they have the way to tell the people. But I think that for me, yes, I am fully on board. I am fully on board with sex education as well as the way for the government to teach us about it.
Right. Okay. So, from your personal idea, okay, so what's the age level of the youth? Would they, be educated by sex education?
Sorry? Oh, what
I mean,
age?
yes, that's right.
I mean, myself personally, when I was in school, I learned about it in fifth grade. And I went to a semi-international school. And by that point, I was fully able to receive the information as well as understand what it means. So for me
Mm.
personally, at fifth grade, it was a very good age.
Mhm. Well, fifth grade is what or how old are they in the fifth grade? 15,
8,
20,
10, 10 or 11.
10 of 11. Oh, you
I learned
very
early.
progressive.
I learned very early. Yeah, because my school, it was a semi-international school, and then they had a psychologue talk to us about it. And they explained in a very simple way. It wasn't very explicit, it was very simple, but it was understandable. And it made sure that we know the basic and for us to be able to understand the future.
Mm, wow. So it's quite surprising indeed because I thought that your answer gonna be like 16 or 15 or
Oh,
sort of, but
I
fifth grade.
learned
Um,
early.
I, I mean, you very progressive minded. Okay,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Okay, so also it's going to be like quite controversial question around the
Yeah.
world. All right. Um, I mean, on your point of view, all right. So would you agree on rightful abortion or not?
I think that women should decide for their own body. There are many reasons that women are going through abortion. And I think that women are fully, they understand the value of life, as well as they
Mm,
understand what it's going to do to their own body and the way
mm,
they view their future. And it
mm,
is important for us to remember that she has a choice, that she has the autonomy of her own body. Because I
mm,
think
mm,
that she is the one that's going to live with the burden. She is also the one that's going to live with a baby. So it is her
mm.
choice.
So what about, I mean, currently, how it's going to be in Indonesia? I mean, abortion would it be legal or would it be, prohibited, but can be done according to doctor advice? Or what I mean, in what way that's actually happened in Indonesia at the moment?
Abortion is a very taboo topic in Indonesia. It is very hard for people to talk about it. So women who goes through abortion will not talk about it, will not tell you about it. And they will go
Mm,
to an underground road, or they will go through a connection that they have,
mm,
and they will go through it alone. So it is definitely happening. It is still a taboo, and there's a negative aspect of it, that people think that she has done some sin. So it is very hard for women to talk about it in Indonesia, especially. And I hope that
mm,
people are willing to speak about it in the future, because this is happening and women are going
mm,
through this, and they're going through this alone.
right. Okay. So I think you're going to change, you're going to be a woman of change because I mean there's a lot of traditional aspect that quite need to be get up with the new knowledge or the new controversy at the moment. So you're going to be like a superwoman then. There's quite a lot of issues that
Well,
you propose. um, I can see that there's a lot of resistance, okay, during on the way through, okay. So you're very courageous, okay. I support you. So also because a lot of population probably sometimes overcrowded, okay. I mean overcrowding. It could cause quite contingent problem into society as well, especially poverty, okay, and inadequacy in life in many aspects. So as in Indonesia, which have 280 millions, okay, people in the archipelago. So how could you propose yourself to uplift the quality of life for especially the marginalized or less fortunate Indonesia?
yeah, I think that there are many people, especially during COVID, that they are going through poverty. And one of the reasons, as you said, is because of our population and the fact that we have so many people. But we also have a lot of land. We have a lot of resources. And Indonesia is a rich country. Indonesia is full of natural resources. So I think that the way that we uplift people is through education, is for them to realize that we are rich, we are available, we are there because we are a big country. And if you are willing to work hard for it, if you are willing to do the hard work, go through school, you are going to be able to have a better life. And so many people are so satisfied with their life and they are not willing to work, or they don't know how to work. They don't know how to ask for help. So that is why we have this message. And that is why I encourage people to go to school. I encourage people to utilize everything that they have. Ask their teacher to teach them. Ask the people around them to guide them through life. And I think that is what's gonna make our nation, Indonesia, a bigger nation in the future.
Right. So you mentioned a lot of education. So I guess that you great emphasis on improving Indonesian life based on education. So if you have authority to design education in Indonesia, what kind of subject, okay, and what kind of matter would you like to implement into the curriculum that, you know, would enhance the youth understanding and the youth perspective in life?
I think that if I can choose one, it's gonna be the one that I studied in university. I mean, I studied innovation. It was a subject in my university, and I wish that many people have access to it. Because the way we move towards the future, the way we improve is through innovation. And I think that if I was taught when I was a kid about how to innovate, how to be creative, and how to make it a reality, I think that if I had learned that, I am gonna be a much better person in general. And I hope that Indonesians are able to learn about it in young age.
Right. So, you know, for the last few years, United Nations just talk a lot about the concept of sustainable development goal, which means that how we can improve the world to be the better place, to be, you know, to get people always, you know, accommodated more. So, but anyway, some still misinterpreted about the concept of sustainable living. So I would love to know about your idea when you heard about this word, sustainable living. What is it in your, you know, imagination?
I heard about it a long time ago because in my school it was encouraged for us to live sustainably. And a lot of my friends, they try to use everything that is sustainable. They try to use organic products as well. So I think that the way I view it is in simple things in life, is that I try to use less products, or I try to finish all my products, as well as I try not to buy a lot of products. And I reuse my clothes. I wear the things that I still have that is still usable. I wear it, I still use it. So it is in those simple things. It's not by buying tumblers, it's not by buying a lot of organic products, it's not by consuming more, it's about consuming less, for me personally.
Right. Okay. That's your idea. So what about? I think there's still a lot of people, especially in the rural area, and in the developed regions, that they're living in poverty a lot. So about sustainable living, people, in that situation tend to mix up and wouldn't get the right notion. So I would love to know, would you ever make any effort to describe people living with poverty who seem to be reconciled to all hardship and comfort themselves like they live on a basis of life sustainability instead of recognizing it as impoverishment, okay, which is actually will affecting their young member development, especially education, okay, and quality of life. What way that you will make them really understand about their basic right or needed they should receive rather be content in living with poverty?
Yeah, so many people have their dreams of failing in their early lives. They don't know how to dream big. They don't know how to want a lot of things, and they are content with their lives. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that is wrong. I'm saying that for your family, for your kids, it is important for them to have a better life. And that is a message that I received from my parents because they want me to have a better future than them. They want me to achieve better things in life. And I think that that is universal, that parents all want their children to thrive. And I think that education is something that they are starting to realize, that they're realizing that it's important for children to be educated. And if we have a great school system, if we have great teachers, they are going to tell the students, they are going to tell them that this is how you get to where you want to be. Because remember when we were kids, they always ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a good teacher will ask their student that. And a good teacher will provide a way for them to dream.
Right. So anyway, what kind of education have you got? So might you to relate your experience to the audience?
Yeah, so I studied in Surabaya. I went to Catholic school for my high school, and then I studied architecture for my university, and I got a degree in architecture, and that that is how I got to today, because I was encouraged by my parents, by my teachers to achieve big. They are telling us that it is okay to dream, and you have to learn. You have to have that eagerness, to have that want, to want to know more, because there is no end in learning.
Right. So it's quite surprised from what I just knew now. You are actually an architect, okay? The licensed architect. So how would you relate architecture and beauty pageant together and, create the more productive perspective into the society?
I think that at the core, beauty pageant and architecture is art. And I love art, and that is why I love them both. Is that in architecture, I learned to be creative. I learned to create stuff from nothing, from an idea. And that is the same in beauty pageant. You create the way you speak, you create your fashion, you create the way you talk, and that is art. And I think that at the core, they both are very similar.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, right. And also, still, okay, we still revolving around poverty. Okay, definitely, more population would likely bring more people prone to poverty. Okay, so I just wonder, okay, if you have a power now today, what area, okay, would you help them to get out of poverty as soon as possible and effectively?
I think that there is a point in you saying that a lot of people, a lot of population create poverty. But also what I see now is that because Indonesia has so many people, we are a huge market for so many companies. So in one way, companies are coming to Indonesia because they want to utilize our people, because they see that there is a potential in it. So I cannot fully agree with you that poverty is all a bad thing, because that population is all bad. Because I think that population of Indonesia is also its strength. It might have a few negative points, but I think that it is what attracts people to Indonesia. I think that so many innovation are happening in Indonesia because of it.
Okay, so what would you expect the Indonesia young generation gonna be in the in the 10 years time? What kind of imagination would you like to see Indonesia to be?
I think that I have started to see it because I talk to a lot of young people in Indonesia, and they are brilliant and they are creator. They create a lot of stuff. So I think that in the future, in 10 years, we're gonna see so many new entrepreneurs, as well as scientists, as well as people who create stuff. I think that Indonesia is gonna be a great place for that. And I'm starting to see it now, and I think it's gonna be true in 10 years.
So would you think that Indonesia ready to compete against their counterpart in 10 years time on the world stage? I mean, on the world level.
I think definitely, because Indonesia is part of G20, and we have hosted a lot of events, international events here. So definitely Indonesia is a player, is an active player in the world stage.
Okay, so humanity definitely closely to the Mother Nature, okay? So I would love to know what kind of the main resource would Indonesia possess?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
What kind of resource would Indonesia mainly have?
The resources that we have. Yeah, we have a lot of natural resources. We have our vast environment, and we have a lot of coal. We have tea, we have coffee, we have all our woods, and we have plantation. And I think that Indonesia is very, very good at it. And based on that, I think that we can bring that to the world stage.
Right. Definitely, I knew that Indonesia supply a lot of wood. Okay, I think because before when I childhood, my family doing about lumberyard. Okay, so we knew that we import Indonesian wood to Thailand. Okay, so I knew that Indonesia has a lot of wood to export. So very good indeed. Yes, but I just can't remember the name of the wood in Indonesia. But we normally call the name according to the source in Indonesia. Okay, like
My favorite is Daffy wood.
I will tell you then, okay? We got a lot of questions, so I'm going to ask you then. Okay, so as a very smart and competent lady, okay, as far as I know you from the, now in the program, so would you consider women equal to men, okay, in terms of opportunity, such as education, job, pay, sport, and competing in beauty pageant, and so on. Would all of things has been opened equally for women, to those for men in Indonesia nowadays?
I think definitely there is still inequality. Unfortunately, men and women don't have the same opportunity in many aspects. I worked before in an office, and being a woman in a room full of men in a meeting, it is very hard for us to make sure that our ideas are heard. And for men, all they have to do is speak and people will listen. But for women, we have to make sure that we look all right, that we present ourselves in a way that is acceptable. And for us to be in a male-dominated society in terms of jobs, it is very hard for us to excel in that. And we have to be perfect because people will see us based on how we dress, based on our makeup, based on our hair. And I've had people in my job tell me what to wear. And so I don't think that women are equal yet. But I believe that women of today, we are strong and we are willing to work hard. So for us in this society, I think that we are moving in the good direction.
So anyway, has Indonesia ever had women president?
Yes.
So that's very impressive, but strange indeed in nature, because you said that, in terms of society landscape, there's still, a lot of barrier for women to thrive, because most of men, has been governed. But how come you have Indonesia, according to you, already have women president? That's really hard. Okay.
Well, there are political steps that happen that at that point in time, we had women president. But it is very hard to replicate. If a woman is to run for president now, it is very hard for a woman to win. So I think it says something. I think that it is a great thing that we had women president, but also in politics, most of them are male now. So there's definitely a room for improvement. But I understand what you're saying. It's very hard for women to have been a president in a country like this.
Yep, right. It's true. So, okay, I would like to say that, but I really need to know, because according to you're quite a realist. Okay, you see that still, in your society has been male dominated in many areas. So if you would like to change, or if you would like to propose in the big venue, and you've got the power, so what kind of opportunity or what kind of aspect in society that you need to advocate for women more? To advocate more opportunity, or more progress for women in Indonesia landscape.
I think I definitely want women to be in the board of directors in major corporations in Indonesia. I want women to have a seat. I want women to have a voice, and for them to be able to contribute, and for them to be listened to. So if I have the power, that's probably going to be my contribution. I want women in boards, in members of the big companies in Indonesia.
Right. Okay. So, would you? Would you have any plans after pageantry? Okay, if one day you no longer be with the queen, so what would you see yourself to be?
I am not sure yet, but I will definitely. First of all, I love the way I work with organizations that I'm working with. with the United Nations, UNHCR, with the refugee agency, the people that I teach. So I definitely will be still contributing to that. But in my professional life, I will find something that interests me, find something that makes sure that I grow and my opinions are heard.
Okay, right. Now, hang on. My internet. Hang on. Okay. So nowadays, we are experiencing some environmental problem. Okay, around the world. So as a Face of Humanity Indonesia, okay, probably you're going to be one of the top runner in the contest. So what is your main concern about the environmental issue in the world today? Not only Indonesia, okay?
I think that environmental issues, if we talk about it, it's gonna be endless because so many problems are happening right now. But for me, because I work with refugees, I work with people who have to leave their home, I see that a lot of them is because of environmental issues and because of droughts. It's because the land in their country is no longer productive. It's because they have, in one way or another, couldn't work their land. So I think that droughts, forest fires, those are the things that are driving people away from their home. And I hope that the UN, because they have this message for sustainable living, as well as to improve the conditions of the earth. So I hope that they work. And everything that we can do to help, we are gonna do.
Okay, right. So, what you're going to say when people just don't realize how grave the environmental problem is now today, and they tend to think that it's untrue. There's like climate change, global warming, or some pollution could harm our health. Or could cost people life. So what you're gonna say to them if someone just don't believe about this environmentalism?
I will say to them, just look around you. For me personally, I live in a tropical country, and we're supposed to have a rainy season when it rains. And we used to be able to predict when it's gonna rain. But now it is totally unpredictable. And therefore we have months where we don't have any rain at all. And then all of a sudden we have huge amount of rain and people suffer because of it. So look around you. There is always a problem. In Australia, there is a forest fire. In Europe, there are problems as well. They have a lot of things. And in America, they have typhoons. So look at it and look at what's happening around you because it is global and it is happening to you and your family. If you look for it, you're gonna see it.
Right. So, okay, if someone just, okay, if you believe that the world have some environmental issue nowadays, so what kind of issue that you perceive is the gravest one and the most, in danger that need to be correct? And also, any initiative that you have in your mind that's going to share, okay, to the world to help mitigate that problem?
They are also interconnected and they're also important. But what I see based on the news and based on the videos is that forest fires are very deadly. That if you're caught in forest fires, you are gonna suffer and the environment's gonna suffer and the animals are gonna die. And I think that that is one of the gravest things. So what I want to say to people is that do everything that you can, do the little things, but do it consistently and spread the message. It is important for us to keep our earth, and because we only have one earth and we have to live here. So hopefully people listen, and hopefully we are gonna improve in the future.
Okay. So, okay, it's just my curiosity, okay? Because lately, okay, in the Miss Universe 2022, national costume of Indonesia is, I think, inspired by Komodo, is it?
Yeah?
Komodo. It's a dragon, is it? Indonesian dragon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, okay, I'm Thai, and I never, get used to like, that creature. So I would love to know what your perception about Komodo, okay? So how Indonesia rate Komodo?
They're definitely our national treasure, and they're endangered and they are prehistoric. So it is how we look at the past, because it was once in Indonesia where Komodo rules. So I think that we value them. We value them as a tourism destination, as well as a very important part of our history. And I think that I saw them at the zoo actually. I've never been to the Komodo Island, but they're actually very big and they're a very scary lizard. So if you come here and you see them, yeah, you wouldn't want to come too close, but they are very fun to see.
Right, that's quite interesting. Even though
They're
in
big.
Thailand we don't have Komodo, we have a smaller one. Okay,
Yeah.
in Thailand we call Waranut, or in common use we call it here. And
Yeah.
for me it's scary. Yes, it's quite scary for me. Okay, here, but we actually call them like, if we see them we tend to think that okay, we're going to have some fortune, they will going to bring.
Oh,
Okay,
oh, interesting.
if we accidentally meet them, okay. But actually I met some during my, I on the way to work, sometime on the field. Okay, but for me it's quite scary for me, even though it's small.
Oh.
So that if I'm going to Indonesia, probably to see Komodo with my own eyes.
You wouldn't see
And
it
also,
in the big cities. You wouldn't see it in the big cities. You'll see it in Komodo Island. So
yeah.
they won't appear suddenly. They're not on the streets.
Okay, right, that's good. Okay, probably, we quite getting to the end, but we got just very minimal question I'm going to ask you. Do you believe in animal rights?
I think that I love animal. I love cats, dogs, and everything in between. And I don't want people to abuse animals, because I think that if people are abusing animals, they will eventually abuse other people. So I wouldn't want people to treat animal in a cruel way. And I think that in that sense, then yes, I will be into animal rights. But I think that there is definitely still a value to human life that is different to animal lives. But I think that is very important for us to apply our humanity when we look at an animal.
So, would you promote or would you go against the animal use material?
The animal use material, so like hide and like leather. For
Yes,
me
fur,
personally, yeah.
like fur. Yes, and dye bag, sort of, or kind of fashion, kind of.
For me personally, if I go to a boutique that source their materials from a reputable place, and that is doing that is sourcing them humanely. I don't mind using leather. I don't personally own fur, and I haven't seen people use fur in Indonesia because it is so hot. And I I think that if it means that there's quality in it and it is sourced humanely, I don't mind using it. But I wouldn't look for it. I wouldn't look for animal products.
Right. Okay. So, as a woman, Nadia, if there would be any collaboration that you would ask for more, I mean, from every gender or everyone in the society, to make society more humane and compassionately livable. So, what kind of message that would you like to say, and would you like to demand from your cohabitant in the society to make the society better, the better place?
I think that if I can ask both gender, if I can ask the men and the women, I will ask them to look at people, humans as humans. Because I want people to understand that it is not right for us to differentiate each other. And the way we look at people, the way we talk to each other, and the way we treat other people is because of who they are and who they are on the inside, and not because of who they are on the outside. So I think that my message is for them to accept and open up their hearts and to let go of their ego and to be able to communicate with people as people.
Yeah, that's a good question, Nadia. It's quite hard. Okay, question that I'm going to probably the last that I'm going to ask you. I know, okay, in your society is quite traditional, but because you chosen to be Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia, and you probably might be the winner as well, okay, on the world stage, that you're going to represent humankind, which include every gender, okay, every gender, every race, every, religion. So, what is your stance on LGBTQ?
LGBTQ. I think that I speak for myself as well as the people around me, that I think that LGBTQ, they are inherently the same inside, that they have dreams, they have their wants and needs, and they have their uniqueness as well as their brilliance. I think that LGBTQ, they are unique, but also they have those brilliance. And I think that they are human. And I accept my brothers and sisters and people of the LGBTQ. I accept them, and I hope that people of Indonesia will too. Because I know some people who belong to that category, who belong to that group. And they're wonderful people. They're beautiful, they're brilliant. So I think that my message to people who are watching is that please don't judge. Don't judge people based on what they like, who they love. You have to accept people because of who they are on the inside.
And also, okay, if you're going to win, okay, as Miss Face of Humanity, definitely, I think you're going to face some questions, which is very tough. Would you agree for some region that still punish LGBTQ, punish people by many measures because of their gender, especially LGBTQ?
I wouldn't agree with that, definitely. I think that it is against my humanity. It is against humans' rights. Because what's wrong with people loving each other? What's wrong with a man loving a man? What's wrong with love? I think that if I speak for other people, for humanity, I will still speak the message of love. And LGBTQ are different because they love different people. And I don't think that we should differentiate because of that.
Right. Okay, thank you for answering. I think it's quite tough question, especially in Indonesia. Okay, we all know. And I appreciate that your stance that you are a strong ally of LGBTQ. Okay, and thank you indeed. And lastly, if you're going to win, okay, Miss Face of Humanity today and tomorrow. So what kind of message you going to leave for the world on the stage?
That is a very difficult question. For me, if I'm in Miss Face of Humanity, my message to the world will still be the message of love. And it will be because I believe in their motto, which is beyond beautiful, beyond powerful. I believe that women like me, who when I was a kid, looking at the TV, looking at people talking, looking at women on the stage, I wanted to be like them. And the message of beyond beautiful means that you are beyond how you look. You are beyond how you present yourself to the world. It is what matters is what's on the inside. And I truly believe in that message.
Right. Okay. So you might you just tell the fans when the coronation night gonna be, so all the fans could follow your journey and support you then.
It is going to be on the 2nd of April, 2022. And it's gonna be in Toronto, Canada. And I think I'm gonna fly there since the 24th of March. So please follow my journey and going to Canada.
Right. Okay. Okay, because I met you already in Bangkok and you're very nice indeed and you're very smart. You're very articulate. Okay, so I'm sure that you're going to do really well on the stage. You're going to nail the question. Okay, congratulations for all Indonesian fans. You've got a very proficient and very intelligent lady as your candidate. And lastly, might you say something nice about my program, my page, and my IG, or especially me? Okay, please promote me.
Definitely. So please follow Ko in her IG, Ko Panasa, because she has put a lot of effort into the questions and she is very intelligent. And thank you for interviewing me. And thank you for allowing me to speak so much. And thank you for being an ally, for being a good person in general. Please follow her.
Thank you, Indy. That's I'm very appreciated and very grateful for your time and especially for your organization, Miss Grand Indonesia, that allow me to interview you today. And your arrival fulfill a lot of fans' desire. Okay, because a lot of fans is asking me. All right, and I'm supporting you. Wish that you're going to represent your cause, especially for Indonesians on the world stage very well. All right, I will follow your trail, and I wish that all the fans would recognize all we talking tonight, because it's tell a lot of Nadia. She got a lot of substance in her mind, and I truly believe that once she gets into the stage, she definitely have a lot to talk about, and have something to make Indonesian fans proud. Okay, and thank you everyone joining the show tonight. Thank you, Mr. Dado and Mr. Iwan Gunawan especially, and Mr. Dude, my friends initially. Okay, and everyone, and especially my queen, Nadia Tjoa, is it? Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2021.
All right, and thank you, Indies, to all the fans worldwide, not only Indonesian, for joining me tonight. I really appreciate for your effort to watch the show. ขอบคุณมากนะคะแฟนๆทุกคนTerima kasih. Is it?
Yes. ขอบคุณค่ะ
banyak kasih. No. Terima kasih banyak. Is it?
Terima kasih banyak.
Okay. Terima kasih banyak. Okay. Thank you very much. All the fans. ขอบคุณมากค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you so much.
Nadia.
Bye.
Bye.